And you're listening to The Yarn, Homespun Arts and Music on IPL Radio. That was Mus Plan Fleur by Grace Barbet and one of my favourites, Postcodes by Verge Collection, which for those of us who live in Fremantle is a very apt song. It says we won't go drive more than about 20 minutes away from where we live. So we like when somebody lives no more than 2 suburbs across, because that's North Fremantle to South Fremantle. My best friend Brodie, who's now in Queensland, when we met, we were stoked to find out, even though we had to have a long-term relationship, it was only between North and South Fremantle, which is about as far as we go. And we're from Fremantle.
Yeah, you get in the Freo bubble.
Yeah, we sure do. And we're joined today now by Kira Gunn, who is a fabulous FARP, which is a term we made up. It's a folk harp player. So although I think you said, Kira, you're studying...
Yeah, studying classical music, yeah.
But you're a singer-songwriter, and you use the harp as your instrument?
Absolutely, yep, among other things.
I was lucky enough to catch you at the Sunset Soirees at Cadoga Art House. Is that on the second Wednesday or the third Wednesday of the month, do you know?
Or second sounds like it rings a bell.
Yeah, same to me. I'm usually pretty good with numbers, so...
Yeah, I'm not.
Such a lovely location there as well.
It is, yeah. So are you from the Fremantle area? Or?
Not at all, no. I grew up in the foothills, and I now live in Bayswater.
All right.
So, yeah, it's a good 40-minute drive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And do you perform a lot?
I do. I perform as much as I can. I say yes to everything. I do a lot of orchestral performances. And I perform a lot at WAPA. There's always stuff happening at WAPA, which is where I'm studying. And I recently have started hosting gigs in my backyard.
Oh, wow.
Called Folk in the Yard.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, so that's where I play my original stuff mostly.
Oh, wonderful. You'll have to send me an invite to your
absolutely.
next one.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you? You've told us where you come from. You're studying at WAPA.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was homeschooled for 10 years. I only did year 11 and 12 in school, and during that time I have 3 siblings, there's 4 of us, and we attended a homeschooling group when I was growing up, and there was a lady who came and she taught Irish dancing and piano and harp. So I started harp lessons when I was 10. I started piano when I was 9, and I just never stopped. And then so I went and did year 11 and 12 at Cyril Jackson in Bassendean. Didn't do ATAR. I just did 2 music certs. And no, 3 actually. I did 3 music certificates in 2 years.
Wow.
And yeah, I just took school really easy and spent lots of time rehearsing and practicing and performing, and then went straight into WAPA when I graduated.
So obviously that's where your passion lies in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was in high school, I did English Lit.
Yep.
Media studies. They said that's all I was in, and current affairs and history, because that's all I wanted to be a journalist, and that's all I could see as being necessary. They said I have to do a math, so I compromised with them and did accounting, which doesn't count as a maths in ATAR, but I was like, it's maths, it has numbers, it'll do. Yep. The only way I could stand it was I could see it as another language, and otherwise I can't stand numbers.
Yeah, same. The only way I can get my head around it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, and 2. It's yes, I can count to 4. That's about it.
So what attracted you to the harp? It's such a beautiful instrument.
Yeah, well, my first teacher, I saw her play, and I was just totally struck and mesmerised by the instrument, watching the strings vibrate back and forth, and it just has the most magical sound. So I was totally drawn in. I remember standing and watching her play and just reaching out a shaky hand. I just wanted to pluck one of those strings, and she was like, "Don't touch." But then I started lessons, and obviously I could play then. But I think most people will agree it's just got a really unique sound. Yeah. And I was playing and singing music on whatever I could get my hands on from as long as I can remember. Yeah. But yeah, the harp.
And when did you start songwriting?
I started in year 11 when I got to school. Yeah. Because my music teacher set an assignment. She made me write a song. And then I just loved it, and I kept going. And I used to draw a lot, and that was kind of my wind down emotional release thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started songwriting, it switched over to that, and so I write songs to process stuff.
What's going on in your life.
Yeah. And as a kid, I always I loved writing, and I used to write short stories, and I still journal most days. I just love writing, so it just came really naturally. Yeah.
And what kind of things do you write about?
Experiences that I have, relationships and friendships. I write about observations of the world, fears, anxieties, hopes, goals, I don't know, life. I just write about life. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And do you have influences?
Oh, goodness.
It's the first time I've ever interviewed a harpist, so but you also a folk musician.
Yeah.
So do you have influences that you've grown up with or that you've recently found, or who would you say influences your style?
I definitely have inspirations. I would say only really recently I've started consciously thinking about being influenced by people musically. But I didn't really grow up with music in the house. No one in my family plays music. Yep. Mum never wanted us to play music in the house, to listen to music.
Yep.
She was happy for us to practice. But it was just extra noise because she had 4 kids running around.
I heard about one of these people the other day, though, someone that doesn't like music. It's quite unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, she loves music, but
does.
just
I can understand
she never
if she had
listened
4
to it
kids.
growing up. Yeah.
Whereas, I find music helps to change the mood of a situation. That song, Tonight's Going to Be a Good Night by the Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, right, yeah.
Whenever I was in a bad mood when that song came out when he was about 12 or 13, he would come home and Mum's in a bad mood, I'll put this song on, and it would instantly lift my mood, partly because I knew that's what he wanted from it. I found it sweet that he would use music to lift my mood. But, if you're feeling melancholy, music can help you to get in touch with your emotions.
Absolutely.
I'd find it really unusual to go a life without music.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's definitely a lot more music in the house now. Yeah. Now it's my sister plays music all the time. When she's showering, me as well. The house is full of music now, but that's probably because we're less noisy as adults.
Yeah, I can understand with 4 kids.
Yeah, because we're all within 4 years of each other,
especially
as well.
if she's homeschooling you.
Yeah,
you might
she
want
have
to
you
have
around
the
24/7.
The children noise, you turn the music up, have a little dance.
Yeah, that's more what it's like now. Yeah. But I'd say influences. Sorry, I totally evaded your question. But influences and inspirations for me now. I really love the Japanese house, but that's not folk. But I just love her music. Annika Moses, one of my favourite local folk artists. I love Jacob Wild's music. Joanna Newsom, all-time favourite. She's a harpist and a singer as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she has a huge body of work. It's really beautiful. I also love Beverly Glenn Copeland, and that's all that's coming to mind at the moment. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Jack Davies and the Bush Chooks?
Ah, classic. Yeah.
I play at least one of his songs every show.
Oh,
We've
good.
already played one today.
Yeah, his stuff is so good.
Yeah, he's my favourite musician.
Wow.
As our listeners will know, because I think I say it every week.
Yeah. I think first music festival I ever went to, I saw him play and was just so inspired and just struck by.
He's just got such beautiful lyrics.
Yeah, so much depth to it. He's just like so he brings so much charm to the everyday. Yeah. Who else can sing about a Vegemite sandwich? I don't know.
And a box of chips.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'd like to play some of your music for our listeners. We might go with what we've got here. We've got one here on the playlist. This is Sandcastles. Can you tell us a little bit about the song? Yeah.
This song is about sort of looking at the world and at people striving for things and just and building their lives around things that don't ultimately matter, and then
like a sandcastle that's just going to blow away or get destroyed.
Yeah, so it's about directing your focus towards things that will last and things that will matter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's have a listen to it, and then we're going to come back and have you play some live music for us here in the studio.
Fab.
So this is Kira Gunn with Sandcastles.
Towers filled with chambers of dragons and of daughters of great kings, waiting to be rescued from their captors, enraptured by the prince and what he brings. Walls to hide and climb up, walls to hide and knock down with armies. Lookout posts and sentries guarding treasure, unmeasured and unseen. And I watch you build and build and build, and the sunset brings the tide and brings the army that is strong enough to swallow all your stories and remind you that your castles are all damned. Because baby, your castles are of sand. I try to convince you that life is not a fairy tale at all. People let you down and leave you stranded, abandoned and alone. But no, you will not listen. No imagination proves to be your but it's a place where you encourage and inspire the people that you know. And I watch you build and build and build, and the sunset brings the tide and brings the army that is strong enough to swallow your stories and remind you that your castles are all damned. Because baby, your castles are of sand.
And you're listening to The Yarn, Homespun Arts and Music on IPL Radio.
Yeah, you are.
That was Kira Gunn with Sandcastles, which was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
And we've got Kira here in the studio with us with her massive harp. How big exactly is that?
I don't know. It's taller than me. It's probably about 6 foot.
And how heavy is it?
It weighs 39 kilos, I think.
So getting it in and out the car must be a bit of a mission.
Yeah, that's my workout. I don't need to go to the gym. I probably do, but
And we were asking you a little bit about what music you listened to growing up, and you said that you didn't really listen to music growing up, which we found very
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't really music in the house, but as soon as I got access to an iPod or an iPhone, I was listening to music before I went to bed.
Yep.
I listened obsessively to the How to Train Your Dragon soundtrack.
And you said that you gig a lot. Where is your favourite place to gig?
It'd have to be Kidogo Arts House now, I reckon. Yeah. But
it's got a great atmosphere there, doesn't it?
Yeah. I really, really love like intimate gigs. So I love performing at my house and at other people's houses, and house concerts are probably my favourite.
Uh-huh. So if you could perform anywhere that you haven't already played, where would you?
The Rechabite in Northbridge. Yeah.
It's not such an intimate venue.
No, it can be though. It depends on what you do with it. Yeah.
I've seen Jack Davies play there most recently, and it was a sold out gig, and it was packed.
Yeah. I think they can fit like almost 800 people in there.
Yeah, it felt like about that many.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what's the most amount of people you've played to in one gig?
Goodness. Probably, I don't know what the Perth Concert Hall capacity is, but I've played to a sold out concert hall.
All right.
I've also played in like at Crown, in the theatre there. So I don't know, maybe like 2,000 people. Not massive, but yeah,
it's enough.
Yeah.
And why do you do it? Why?
Ooh.
Why music? Why the harp? Why folk?
I think when I started, it just fell into my lap. Music. It was natural. It was natural to play. And then the more I did it, the more I started to enjoy it and become aware of what I was doing and that it was impactful to others. And I'm a Christian, and so like faith is kind of at the center of my life and my person. And so as I've gotten older, I've realized how much power music has to reach people with life, essentially.
Definitely.
Because you like something that you were kind of saying before is like music can change how you feel. And music has the ability to, I don't know how and I don't know why, but it has the ability to cut through to someone's heart when nothing else can. So it's just like this kind of transcendent, incredible, in my view, it's a gift from God. And yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else for me. I mean, there is, but I have the ability to do music, so why would I do anything else? I love it. Yeah, I love it, and it brings people together.
And do you get to make a living from your music, or do you have to work as well?
At the moment, I'm still studying full time and living with my parents. But if that wasn't my situation, I would have to work, I think. Yeah. Do you plan on making it a full-time career? I'm not sure yet. I'm really not sure. I'm very go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. I would love to. I'd love to give it a red hot go, but it's really hard to be a musician and to make a full-time living off it. I don't know any harpists in Perth who are making a full-time living off playing music. So, yeah.
Very hard with any instrument, really.
Yeah.
Any art, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's so worth it. Worth the investment. Yeah. We'll see.
So would you like to play something for us?
I would love to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Russ, I'll get you to put your microphone in front of the harp.
That's probably a good idea.
Sound.
Alrighty.
Tell us about the song before you play it.
Yeah, sure. This one's called I Ask Why. I think you've heard it before, Sandy.
Yeah.
I played it
at the Kidogo.
The Kidogo gig, yeah. And it's about kind of looking at life and seeing that being really low is really hard, and even being like kicking the goals and being on the top of everything that you wanted to do is still hard. And ultimately we're all searching for meaning somewhere, whether we're striving for it or just like don't have the energy to keep going. And it's about finding that the person of Jesus Christ in the Bible offers rest that is lasting and true, and ultimately just like being able to rest in him. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
like a demon and burning like a match. You're moving toward the ceiling and it's clearing from your path. And I ask why. You'll climb the tallest building and stretch out both your arms. You'll reach around the world and you're only getting started. And I ask why. And you look me in the eyes and say the world is not enough. When you climb the tallest building, you considered jumping off. Filling up your stomach never satisfied your soul. And when death brushed your arm, there was no warmth in his hold. Falling out with fortune, she never knew your name. You're beaten to the ground and life's a nightmare you don't wake from. Tell me why. You're staring down the pit that's opened up beneath your floor. Descending's not an option, but your oxygen is short. Tell me why you started seeking answers introspection couldn't source, and you found them on your knees with a candle and a book. And this book read of one strange man who was claiming to give rest to the weary and the burdened, if they'd only take the gift. So you did. Like a freedman, there's joy upon your face. Your eyes are lifted upwards and they're pointing mine that way. And I know why.
Wow, thank you, Kira. That was beautiful.
Thanks for listening.
So
Amazing.
that was amazing, and that was a song a little bit about Jesus and reaching out to him when you're feeling low. Is
Yeah.
that, would you say that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's based upon there's the book of Matthew 11 verse 28. Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," essentially. And he says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light. I'm gentle and humble in heart." And so it was kind of just based upon that passage. And
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So, Russ, your turn, buddy.
Yeah, well, I would like to ask some more questions about your the instrument.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Is this mahogany? All the different woods that you have in it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I definitely should be able to, but I don't know.
Sure. It looks like mahogany to me.
Well, you're
It
probably
does.
right.
It's the same
There you
colour
go.
as Cloda, and Cloda is considered to be mahogany.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
And the well, it looks like she oak and maybe some other sort of hardwood like wandoo or something. But,
Yeah,
You don't.
Sounds legit.
No idea.
And the strings, are they metal strings?
Yeah, so the bass ones are wound steel, and then in the middle register is gut, and then the very top ones are made of nylon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cool, because they're very colourful,
Yeah.
especially from the side angle where we're sitting at the moment.
Yeah, so for those listening, we've got clear strings and red strings and also black strings. And the red is C. And then you go up the scale D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
Very good.
Yeah.
And where do you get harps from?
This one the brand is Line and Healy, and they're made in Chicago.
Okay.
So this one came from Chicago. There's also another major harp brand, Salvi. I don't remember where they're based. Maybe Italy or something. I don't know. And then there's Japanese ones as well. Aoyama. But they're manufactured all over the world.
And I see it's got pedals on the other side down there.
Yeah, so we've got
What are
the
the
accelerator and the clutch and the no, I'm joking. The pedals, they change the pitch of the strings. So each string
So
has...
it tightens or loosens the string.
That's
if
it.
you
Yeah,
press
precisely.
the pedal like a piano.
Well, not exactly like a piano, but yeah, the piano pedal is like for sustain. With the harp, you have no control over the sustain of the note. But the pedals change the pitch of the strings. So this is one string, and I can play it as a C flat, or as a C natural, or as a C sharp by changing the pedal. Yeah.
And how difficult was it to learn? How many years did it take?
Well, I started when I was 10, and I've just turned 22. So I guess I've been playing for 12 years? Yeah. I don't know how to quantify how difficult it is. I think instruments are always difficult. Like they all have particular challenges. Definitely learning the technique was really hard.
Yeah.
And learning to read sheet music was really hard. I hated learning to read sheet music. I used to learn everything by memory for years because I just hated reading music. But I don't know.
And how much does one of those set you back?
They're not cheap. You can get sort of like a good low end professional model pedal harp for around 20 grand.
All right.
Yeah, so they're not cheap.
There's a big professional model, I assume.
This is sort of like the cheapest professional model of this brand. Yeah, but it's got a beautiful sound. I'm very happy with this harp. It'll last me forever. But
and you mentioned you had a smaller harp as well?
I do. I've got a little Celtic harp, little folk harp. That one's a Dusty Strings. That's about half the price.
When you say little...
It's still pretty big. It's probably almost up to my shoulders in height, maybe. Yeah, but you can get really, really small ones that you can just carry around in your lap, strap on.
The juice harp.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Or the harmonica, little mouth harp. Yeah. Pocket harp.
So, Russ, what else can we ask Kira today? Do you have any plans to release any new music soon?
Ooh, I have dreams. They're not plans yet. I have dreams. Right. I'm currently saving because, as you probably know,
it's not cheap to release music.
It's such a process. But I have probably about 2 albums worth of music written, ready to go, and I would love to record and release it. It's just the financial side that's hard, especially studying and not working full time. So once I graduate, I'll start working more.
What are you studying at the moment?
Classical harp.
Okay.
Classical harp.
Yeah, at Whopper.
Yeah,
I did say that earlier.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, are your family members supportive of your career choice?
Absolutely, yeah.
Studying choice?
Yeah, Mum's always been number one support. She came to all of my shows when I first started playing. And Mum and Dad withdrew on the mortgage to pay for this.
Oh, wow.
To buy the harp.
That is supportive.
That's very supportive, yeah. And, they've always been really supportive. And we just moved... Our family moved house a couple of years ago and we're living in Bayswater, and Mum and Dad renovated the whole backyard and essentially made it into an amphitheatre so that I can do shows there, which I have been doing.
In my backyard in Australind, I used tyres it was a slope like this.
Yeah.
Like that. of a quarter acre, which you don't get quarter acres these days, but this was down in Australind. And I used tyres to retain it. And then I put limestone up against the tyres and then concreted with limestone concrete up to the limestone rocks, and it ended up creating, because it was in a semicircle shape, it ended up creating like an amphitheatre, and it looked fantastic.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It was. It took about 3 or 4 years of digging, but I was super fit at the time because I was spending all of my days digging. And I had a couple of past lives transgressions of being a digger in the world wars, and a few memories popped up just from being, because it's quite meditative when you're doing something so physical, and your brain doesn't really have to be involved. And I don't know if it was my imagination or a past life transgression, but I had memories of being a digger in the world war. So.
Wow.
Wow. I actually believe in that. I've had a bit of a past life transgression as well.
Yeah.
But I believe in past lives.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
So
what comes up in this life is often, where you've been before as well.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Goodness me. There are lots of options
if
out
you
there.
could be doing what you would love to do, not where you think you might end up, but where you'd like to end up in 5 years.
It's like ideally.
Yeah, ideally.
I would love to have released a bunch of music by then, and be playing and performing my own stuff
on a world tour
at festivals. Maybe not world tour. I've never been a fan of the idea of being famous. I think that just sounds like
I would
the worst.
like to be famous.
What about infamous?
Infamous, yeah, sure.
That's more fun.
But you prefer the intimate gigs anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think your music really lends itself to an intimate gig.
Thank you, that's the goal.
Yeah. But I suppose the money would be better in big stadiums, but...
Yeah. I mean, I've been listening to so many podcasts recently, and it seems to be, from surveys that are done, that like you hit 70K a year, and then happiness levels for people don't change after that. So I don't know. Money's never been that attractive to me. It's like you need it to live. It's a tool, but
and it's never been a motivator.
Nah. I mean, it's annoying when you don't have it because it means that I can't do recording and things like that. Yeah. But no, I don't really care about the money.
Yeah. I've never been money driven.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I've never been happiness driven. I read a book called The Happiness Myth, which my psychiatrist recommended to me.
Yeah.
And it was about that it's impossible to be happy all the time, and how do you decide what happy is anyway? So it's not something to strive for, and so I strive to be content. I think content is more realistic, and if you're content with what you've got, you're happy.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Yeah.
But if you're always striving for happiness, it can be an out of the reach goal. You're right. And so often what you think will make you happy doesn't when you get it. Yeah, like thinking money will make you happy, or fame, or
satisfactorily happy is what the dictionary describes it as.
Yeah,
because I looked it up one day because when I was at school they taught me French, and je suis content is supposed to mean I'm happy. And I was like, that sounds like contentment, maybe it's just saying I'm content.
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and the number one meaning of content was in a box. Content.
Interesting.
I happened to be living in my house truck at the time, and I was quite happy. I was quite content being the contents.
Yeah.
Being content as the contents.
Yeah. Of your little box house.
In my little box.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
So, would you like to play another song for us, or have you bit getting tired? Or
nah, I could go all day.
You can go all day.
Yeah,
perfect.
Great.
Just got to decide.
You'll need to tell us a bit about the song.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll play a recent one that I've written called "Rushing Water," which I also played at.
Yeah,
so you've heard this one as well.
Yeah.
This is about contentment, actually, fittingly enough. But there's a bit more to it than that. It's about experiencing circumstances that are hard, relational difficulties, and seeing suffering, and just experiencing desires for things that I don't have.
Which is the quickest way to feel discontent.
Absolutely, yeah. Depending on what you do with it, right? Yeah. So it's kind of
use it as a motivator. To get ambitious towards achieving those goals.
Yeah. That's not really where I went with this song, though. Instead of using it as a motivator, instead it's just like I want to commit those things to God, because I trust that He's in control of my life, and the circumstances that He places me in will ultimately be for my good. There's a Bible verse that says, now I've got to recall it. No, it's gone out of my head anyway.
It's okay.
But it's about like God. Oh, there it is. God works all things together for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes. So we have this hope that ultimately, even though I don't understand everything that's going on in my life, I trust that God in His goodness is using it for something. So that's what this song is about, and just like committing the woundedness of my heart to God and being like, God, I know that you have created these wounds. So use them and close them and shape me into the person that you are, through that.
Before you start, I'm just going to play a quick ad.
Absolutely.
And give you a minute to compose yourself.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Do you have a story to share but don't think anyone would listen? Here at IPL Radio, we care about your story. IPL Radio is a community access radio station and has been inspiring passionate lives since July 2020, broadcasting across Australia, New Zealand, America, Canada and the UK. We're very proud of our family of presenters who come from a diverse background, including young and young at heart, with health or mental health issues or disabilities. Whether it's spreading awareness of rare conditions, supporting your event, or helping to promote your music or your business, there's a place for you in our family. We especially welcome First Nations people from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds, people living with a disability, and LGBTQ plus communities. Come and join us at IPL Radio. Email us at info@iplradio.org.au for more information.
And you're listening to The Yarn, Homespun Arts and Music on IPL Radio. We're here with Kira Gunn, who's about to play a beautiful folk song that she wrote herself on her beautiful harp. Can you just remind us what the song is called?
It's called Rushing Water.
Rushing Water. So let's have a listen.
There's this one boy who truly sees me. He picked me a flower and told me he loved me. Years and great tears if these words proved. Well, he hurts and I hurt, and we lean on the truth. There's a deep love who was mine as a child, torn from my eyes by his father's stronghold. Tears I have cried many nights for him, pressing down longings that almost choke me. Grooves in my heart, cut by rushing water. Let it pound down to my soul, washing and cleansing, forcing an ending to all of the yearning I hold. I see a girl who's pale and tired, and I don't give her flowers. I'll tell her I love her, and ongoing tears have marked her cheeks as she hurts and I hurt, and we share all our weaknesses. I long for this love, he has hold of me still, mine for a moment, then caught in a cruel hard labyrinth of tangled ideas and memories. Let me have him, I beg, or take all this longing. Grooves in my heart, cut by living water. Let it all come drench my soul. Renew and restore me. Please bring an ending for all of this darkness I hold. Wounds in my heart, closed by gentle fingers. Lord, please hold on to my soul. Rid me of hoping in all that's not you. Empty my heart of the old. Make it new. I long to see what you see. Would you open your words up to me? Help me worship you rightly. Examine my heart and remove any hurtful way from me.
Wow, that was really beautiful.
Thanks,
I think that's my
Amy.
favourite you've played so far today.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
It's really, really lovely.
Very meditative.
Very, and really beautiful. Your voice comes across really well in that song. I could just see you
Thank
doing
you.
a gig with Jack Davies opening for him.
Oh, I have to meet him first. We have to be friends.
Yeah, we're friends. I can introduce you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be great.
You just have to go to Clancy's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he plays. He works at
Oh,
Clancy's,
does he?
Yeah,
All right,
the
I'll
bar.
keep that in mind.
So if you were able to play a gig with where you had anyone you wanted on the lineup, who would you be playing with?
Oh, that is such a good question. Goodness me. Okay, are we talking like realistically?
No, just your dream. Like if you could play, I prefer that you stick to Australian musicians.
Oh, okay. That makes it even harder. Look, Jack Davies would be awesome. I think my number one would have to be Joanna Newsom, but she's not Australian. But Jack Davies or Annika Moses.
Annika Moses.
Yeah.
Is that the one you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, her
because we
stuff
might
is
get her
so
on
beautiful.
Our playlist.
Mm-hmm.
She's a folk musician. Cause
Yes.
I've been told that indie folk rock is my favourite genre.
You'd love Annie. You'd love her stuff. It's
So
incredible.
how do you spell it? Annika?
Her stage name is Nikamo, so it's Nikamo.
M-O.
Yeah.
Okay. Musician.
Mm-hmm. Her stuff is just like
Okay.
mesmerisingly
I'll have
beautiful.
to just get it on our playlist and have a listen to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Butcher's hook.
Sorry?
I said have a butcher's hook. It's Cockney for a look.
Oh,
What do you say?
there you go.
Yeah, have a butcher's. Like, well, have a butcher's for that.
Ah, cool. I like it.
Yeah. They used it as Cockney rhyme and slang in London back in the day, so that the criminals could have their own chat without being understood.
Oh, that's genius.
So the apple and pears is the stairs, the frog and toad is the road.
Oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, China plate, mate.
Yeah, right.
Mild China. Yeah.
That is so clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They would double encrypt it where they'd rhyme with the rhyming slang.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, this is back in the day, in my old man's day.
Oh, that's so cool.
So when you write your music, Kira, I noticed that you handwrite
Yes.
music.
Handwrite everything.
Do you also write the musical score, or do you just remember that?
Oh, Not typically. A lot of the time I always start with the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I will write the lyrics with no musical ideas, but sometimes the melody will come to me as I'm writing, and then I use solfa, which is like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And so that is transferable to any key. So if I have a melody in my head, I'll often just write the solfa and the rhythm above the lyrics, and then I can go back to it and then figure out a key that suits it. But more often than not, I will just write the lyrics and it'll sit there for months, and then one day I'll come back to it and put music to it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I always wonder that with musicians, especially singer-songwriters.
Everyone does it so differently.
They do. I always ask the question, and it's always a different answer.
Yeah, it's really
the
interesting.
The process that they go through. Some it's the melody that comes to them first. Others it's the lyrics. I know Jack is a poet, and that seems to me that you are too. Quite a poet, and then happen to put music to your poetry.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess Jack and I will just have to meet and have a chat one day.
Yeah, I can totally see you opening for him.
Sounds like we're destined to be friends. Next time you see him, please tell him that.
Well, we've got our next show starting in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, all right.
So we might say goodbye to Kira now. You can stay in the studio.
Okay.
But we're going to play a little bit of Legs Electric and a little bit of Lloyd and the Leftovers. I've got to check that I've got Lloyd and the Leftovers.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've got gigs coming up.
I need songs like Bubble and Squeak.
So I wanted to let you know that Legs Electric are playing with Satisfaction Guaranteed at Mojo's on Saturday the 24th of November. That's Friday the 24th. And then Saturday the 25th, Lloyd and the Leftovers are playing at the Buffalo Club. So that's where I'll be checking out their music. So why don't we we'll finish up the show with Illicit Love by Legs Electric and Speak Loud by Lloyd and the Leftovers. I'd like to say a huge thank you to Kira for coming in all the way down from Bayswater
Thanks so much for
to Rockingham for us today to play for us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
It has been a joy having you in the studio. It's a beautiful instrument and you play it so well, and
thank you.
And you're a beautiful writer, and with such a lovely message of peace and hope and
it's not my message, that's Jesus' message. But I'm glad to be a messenger.
Alrighty, well thank you so much for coming in, and as I said, this is Legs Electric followed by Lloyd and the Leftovers, and then our 4 o'clock show will be starting at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, thank you.